Well, our next guest predicted that this would be the year of the defamation lawsuit. He said, mark my words, and we're here. We marked his words, and he was right. We're going to break down the merits of President Trump's new case against the New York Times for millions. He's suing for millions, he says, because they are liars. Well, they are. But is there merit to this case? But on the subject of defamation and media freedom, because it's a fine line to walk, right? So we have to be diligent about it. Let's start with this one. The media is trying to pretend that the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk was not a leftist, even though his mother said that he was. Watch Jimmy Kimmel just make up out of his backside that the shooter was allegedly MAGA.
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking
that's enough, because I don't know where he got that from. There were some photoshopped pictures of the alleged shooter where people had put a Trump shirt on, but there was otherwise no indication that he leaned right in any form or fashion. So how can he just make this up? Well, now the head of the FCC, Brandon Carr, says this may be something that the FCC looks into. Can they do that? Watch.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. As you've indicated, there are, avenues here for the FCC. So there are some ways in which I need to be a little bit careful, because we could be called ultimately to be a judge on some of these claims that come up. But I don't think this is an isolated incident. I mean, you go back to Representative Swalwell, and he had a tweet out last week where he was saying that, emphasizing that Charlie Kirk's killer was a straight white male from a Republican family that voted for Donald Trump.
You get the idea that the FCC might look at this. So, okay, where do we stand here? Media freedom, but also punishment? I don't know. Let's bring in Lionel from the Lionel Nation YouTube channel. He is a constitutional expert and a litigator. So what do you think? Can the FCC litigate when someone makes stuff up, or is that up to the marketplace?
Three things. First, God bless Dane Wigington. Number two, billions of dollars. He's suing for billions.
15
billion.
Billion. I like gazillion. There you go. Let's be even more ridiculous with this. And finally, you don't want to get me going on this case involving Tyler Robinson. Believe me when I tell you that. Believe me, this is a joke. You should hear. But that's for later on. So get ready. Prepare for that. But friends, I can't believe what I'm saying. Look, I love the president. He's wonderful. That's terrific. That's great. He's right. He's out of his mind. The First Amendment is going away. What we have forgotten about is this very simple question. President Trump, have you or anybody really been injured? Libel, defamation is when people are injured. Do you know what this man has had thrown at him? He's almost vaccinated from you can call him a warlock. You can call him anything. Do you really think, and now he's being charged, by the way, with two things, or he's alleging libel per se and libel per quote. And what he's trying to say is that the information, the allegations are so great that you don't even have to prove damages. Just prove that they were said. Now, a little background. Justices Gorsuch and Clarence Thomas, and I agree with them, have said, let's get rid of this stupid malice hurdle that we're having in cases like this. It may sound great, but this was in 1964, whatever, New York Times against Sullivan, when they had the New York Times, and that's it. There was no internet. Now we got 5 gazillion different platforms. Oftentimes people, you've got a 15-year-old girl opening up, unboxing a curling iron. She gets 20 million views. This is a different world. People know right now, I can say whatever I want about anybody because of this stupid malice hurdle. So that's got to go. But my friends, have you noticed on X these wonderful thing called notes. Have you seen this? I don't know if anybody. Do you know all of the pictures that went up regarding this jadrul who was alleged to have shot Charlie Kirk? How many wrong pictures and AI of that alone, and people on our side? Do you really want to go into the wild west of defamation? And you're going to be keep an eye also. You've got Candace, and now she's opened up a new can of worms with Bill Ackman. Wait till you see where that's going. We had Alex Jones, who basically, think about this. And I don't want to relitigate that. Please, no. But how many times have you great folks ever said that the official account of something wasn't true, whether it's 9/11, Vietnam, Watergate? You can say, that's not true. There are some people who, by the way, think that Buzz Aldrin and nobody landed on the moon. Okay, that's your opinion. What happens if Buzz Aldrin says that people are driving by my home at night, doxing me and screaming at me, damn you, Clayton, you did it. And you said, no, wait a minute. All I did was I said I disproved. I don't believe in the moon landing. Yes, but through this derivative, it's defamation.
But let's look at what he's saying in the case. He's saying they put out a book that had all kinds of falsehoods. For instance, this one's kind of funny. They said I was only famous because of The Apprentice, but I was famous before that. Well, obviously, why would you get a show like The Apprentice if you weren't already famous? And saying that is clearly a lie. And they were saying that they said so-and-so made my reputation, but I was already made. They said I inherited this money. I didn't make it myself. Those things are lies, but they're dumb.
But are they
so
damaging?
Dumb to say.
Right. But are they damaging? See, listen, I can say things all day long about what you've said. The great Dane Wigington. What if somebody says, no, Dane, it's not aluminum, it's strontium. Aha! Sue him! It's like, wait a minute. No. Errata is not the same as libel. If somebody, here's what defamation is. You open up a pizza, Natalie and Clayton's Pizza Parlor extravaganza. Somebody claims they found a dead mouse. It never happened. It ruins your business. You got to shut down because of a lie. It defamed your business. That's the stuff we're talking about. We are using this from Craftmatic to Dominion to go down the list. Now, again, this is lawfare. Listen, I love this president, okay? You also have an attorney general who says that hate crimes are now verboten by the First Amendment. No, they're not. Would you stop this? This is a man who says, I'm going to get rid of lawfare. And basically, what is he doing? It's lawfare. It's ridiculous. We're losing our minds. Listen, I don't want to do slippery slope, but folks, we're in the opinionating business. We conversate, my new favorite word. We conversate and opinionate. That's what we do. And in the heat of things, because I want you two guys to go out and do a show, and I want you to turn that heat up. You go, Natalie, turn that heat up. Say something. Well, there's also, if sometimes my favorite also is if something is not per se libel, they'll call it intentional infliction of emotional distress. That's the second tier. That's all if all else fails. Listen, I'm scared right now of what's happening. I am afraid. And I want people to pump the brakes and say, now listen, if you say something, if Jimmy Kimmel says something, and this is him, we got to go back to this thing about an opinion. If my opinion, if I'm going out there and I said that Trump is stupid and he's not famous, again, libel is it's not a foot fault like in tennis. It means you damage somebody. You damage somebody's career. They're saying things about, by the way, libel per se. Let me go back with this one. At common law, if you accused a woman of being of
Okay, Lionel, I apologize. We cut you off for a second. Can I pick it back up with this question? I can see you're still yelling, but I can't hear it yet.
Okay, now say that again, Lionel.
Okay, one second.
You.
Oh.
Times that we say that Biden had Alzheimer's, neurological, we're accusing him of a loathsome disease. As I was saying, in common law, if you accuse a woman of being a unchaste character, somebody of having a loathsome disease, somebody committing a crime, or somebody do something that affected their business, that was libel per se, meaning damages were presumed. You didn't have to prove anything. How many times do we call women all kinds of terrible things? How many times did we accuse Biden, not we, us collectively, but the royal we, accuse Biden of having Alzheimer's and he was senescent and he was there and he's brain dead? Wait a minute. Couldn't that have damaged him? Well, he is. It's an opinion. How many times have we said terrible things about Michelle Obama? And let me tell you something. With all the stuff and all the allegations about her particular demographic, and I'll leave it at that, don't be surprised if one day she comes back and she goes after people. Do you know what this world is going to be when we can't even say stupid stuff? Let me go back to what Lionel said. I don't want defamation to be used for people who say stupid things or wrong things or hurtful things. I want to go after damaging things. And if you're damaged, listen, if you two great minds try to come up and damage Donald Trump, good luck. They have been after him. He has been accused of everything from the Hindenburg to Epstein to Judge Crater to who shot JR from the beginning. You mean to tell me that this stupid book that nobody read? So anyway, I'm saying good luck for you. Is it a power play? Yes. Are they?
So an intimidation tactic, because he was able to finagle a settlement out of CBS, which gave the government an ombudsman inside the network.
Yeah,
now,
will this damage
a babysitter?
Will this damage the New York Times in any appreciable way? $15 billion?
Well, first of all, they're not going to get. It's not going to be $15 billion. That's it. But the idea is that ultimately they may stipulate to certain aspects and go after damages. Listen, the reason why CBS, and by the way, look who's running CBS now. That's for another story. But the reason why he did that one, Sherry Redstone at that particular time was in the middle of unloading it, and it's like, now is the perfect time. Yes, we'll settle. The whole Dominion thing fascinated me. They didn't even call a witness. That was an immediate settlement. I don't know what that was about either. What also scared me is what happened to Alex Jones. What happened to people in our business for saying things. Now remember, I'm not saying that defamation doesn't exist. I'm not saying that at all. Especially when you're an individual, when you're a civilian, when you're just Joe Blow and you've really been hurt by this. But my friends, today's National Constitution Day, and most people have no idea what it is. They don't know what it's about. They don't know what the First Amendment is. And they also don't understand that one of the keys of the First Amendment regarding religion is to allow you to do what you want during the Free Exercise Clause, but also to not have a federal religion. We are not a Christian country. We're not a Judeo-Christian country. The Treaty of Tripoli said that. We've got to go back to the basics of love, as Waylon Jennings said. We got to go back and remind people this is what this is. The First Amendment, and again, I want to throw this in. You've got an attorney general who mentions hate crimes. This is the chief law enforcement, and I think the world of her as a person, but no, absolutely not. This is insanity. So we, through our haste, through our anger, and going after, what about Stephen Miller? We're going to go after we're going to crush the what? What are you going to crush? This is the government now. Say that again. Let me write this down. You want to what? You want to crush the left. And what's wrong with the left? What's wrong with transgenderism? What's wrong with these negative forces that fuel hate? Well, guess what? We've been accused of that. Or if we're not now, in an hour we will be, because that's what we do. We're the right. We're the conservatives. We're the MAGA people, or whatever we are. Now you get into these weird, you've got, as we get into the Nick Fuentes and the Grapers and the Laura Loomers and this and that, and then you've got this, and watch what you hear now. Especially, not to keep changing the subject, but think about this. When you have people talking about Charlie Kirk, who is dead, who, by the way, you cannot defame the dead, but there is turning point. Now you're claiming that he was canned and saddled, threatened by Israel, and that he was a Catholic, and you have a lot of people, these vultures spinning around saying who moves in to take over TP. I give you 10 causes of action right there. By today's standards, I've got somebody who is now claiming that all of these things, this is going on right now. People are talking about the intimidation factor of Israel. And okay, I think you should be able to express whatever you want. It'd be nice if you could prove it. But when you hit that libel level, it's at such a red hot level. It's got to scream defamation. You've got to say, you've got to do something to stop this. That's another thing too. It's not just pointing the finger and saying you hurt my feelings or you hurt my business, but you've got to stop this speech, because if you don't, lives will be lost, trade secrets, businesses crushed, commerce destroyed. It's a last resort. It's like amputation. It's not a Band-Aid.
Right. But it will have the effect of, chilling the New York Times, maybe making them chill out a little bit. I don't know.
Is that good? Is that good?
In my opinion, the full implosion of the New York Times is good. I don't think it should. Right.
What about if it shows the New York Post? What if it shows the National Review? What if it shows Breitbart? What if it shows...
Oh, I'm not saying... Yeah, right.
I don't like that. Listen.
It should be us that crashes the New York Times. It should be the people who says, you've lied too many times, we no longer trust you, and we implode them, right?
And there should be this other one too. Hashtag so what? Who cares? Every time that you hear New York Times, I'm thinking, what are you laughing? The New York Times?
Right.
Do you know anybody who even cares about the New York Times? That's my thing, is to make them ossified and ocious and useless. Listen, if you want to go after somebody...
Which the FCC chair did say, look, that is happening. We see Joy Reid taking off the air. We see MSNBC sold. We see subscription down across the, the marketplace is taking care of it. They have to either decide to tell the truth or not. We really, even though it doesn't happen on the timeline that I would like to see, we have to allow that to happen if we want to live in a free society.
How does it hurt? But with all due respect, we need these people. I can't explain my position unless I have a boogeyman. Unless I can say, we got to, no, I'm serious. We've got to stop this. The worst thing they can do is say, you're right, Natalie. You're right, Clayton. It's like, what the hell are we doing? Redacted becomes what? Dacted? Who wants to hear you if everything's beautiful? This is our bread and butter. We are exterminators and they're bed bugs. We decry them, but we need bed bugs and roaches and rats because that's what we do. We point these things out. But without these people, we are done. And believe it or not, I have learned sometimes more to articulate my opinion by hearing that of my enemy and what they enunciate. I never knew I was right until I heard what these lunatics said. I didn't know anything about I'm here talking about fuzzies. Think about this. We used to have Lee Harvey Oswald and Bremer and people who were assassins. Now I've got some guy who's with a roommate who thinks she's a wombat or a fuzzy, furry thing. I mean, this is insanity. None of this makes any sense. So what I'm saying is, in our attempt to get to the truth, let's do it the old-fashioned way, by making them obsolete, by being so brilliant and so smart and so great that nobody listens to this crap, which they don't.
All right. But then again, if they didn't exist, there was no one to tell lies, I would do my laundry. So I don't want to say that I need them for my livelihood. There are things that I could, So anyhow, Lionel, it's great to talk to you.
Hardcore. Your wife is hardcore. You're like Torquemada, lady. Wow.
I know.
I like to look at you. I know.
Clayton jokes, actually, I love doing laundry. He jokes that he wears the same two underwear because as soon as the laundry basket is like this full, I'm like, I got to do it. I got to wash the clothes.
I try to go and do it, and she won't let me do it. So I try, but it won't happen.
Go Commando. Join the team.
Commando.
All right. Watch Lionel's breakdown of the FDA's indictment of the Charlie Kirk alleged shooter because,
the
FBI. Who did I say?
FDA.
Anyhow.
That's a story.
Yeah, he's not buying it. We're not buying it. And we'll talk about this more, Lionel, on another day when we have more time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.